We move on to our next speaker, Mr. Boye Hartmann, and we welcome you, sir, to this wonderful session. Now, to talk about Mr. Boye, he is a Danish marketing and mobile expert. Being a phenomenal networker and motivator, Boye has helped many global companies with their business development and marketing. With his perpetual positive spirit and truly innovative thinking out of the box, Boye can bring your sales and marketing to a new level. Looking back on more than 15 years of telco experience and being a technology and gadget lover, there are only a few mobile phones that Boye does not own, and even few players in the mobile industry that he does not know personally. Wonderful, sir, to have you here. Having lived in Denmark, Russia, Poland, Belgium, Indonesia, worked globally in sales, marketing, and advertisement the past 25 years, Boye always knows the right person for any given situation. Entrepreneur at heart, Boye had started numerous on and offline business and is sitting on the board in various companies and is helping startups across Europe with the business development and financing initiatives. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us. His area of expertise in mobile marketing, mobile web marketing strategy, international business development, sales and marketing, telco, advertising, technical trends, web innovation, financing, entrepreneurship, connecting people, and many more too. So thank you for being here. Over to you, sir, now for your wonderful learning to be shared to us.
Hello, everybody. I hope that you are okay that we start our work again. So we went through the talks about where I come from, and now actually we look upon the world that there's two mega trends going on at the moment. One is actually digital transformation, which is happening on many levels, but for us digital transformation means that you actually change the core of your company. And many companies, of the big companies, they don't really actually have you can say in their DNA to change the way that they actually do their work and how they operate. I've done sessions for Lazada where for instance that they believe they're a truly digital company, but for real, when you look inside the company, there's so many opportunities how you can actually digitalize what you're doing. What we see more happening right now in South Asia is digital modernization, where actually you take a function per se, and you take your sales department and make it digital, or you take your online marketing and make it digital, or you take your internal processes and make them digital. These kind of things are more what is happening at the moment as we see this. So what we're looking at is, when you look at actually how you can monetize in the digital space, there's so many places where you can actually monetize or increase your efficiencies or profitability. And of course, in the center of this slide I have here is digital marketing and advertising, because that's where we mostly are spending our time. But essentially, you see a lot of things happening in logistics at the moment, retail experiences. I think there's a lot of good stories at the moment in retail, also in South Asia. So I think if you look into cosmetic industry, they're doing a lot of interesting things in retail at the moment. Banks are trying a lot of interesting things at the moment. But essentially, there's a lot of places where that are needed for each other to make a monetization possible. So, for instance, the enablement of financial services in the region are a big need to actually harvest some of these big possible opportunities. So when you see the thing is that a lot of industries have changed tremendously, and I'm just bringing this one example that everybody knows, that if you go back 15-20 years, all entertainment was not distributed digital. Even though it might existed digital, it was not actually distributed digitally today. And today we are looking at the majority of different segments. So for instance, millennials and others are consuming most of their content digitally today. So a movement from traditional media into digital. A lot of these media has not been able to make money, and they needed to go into a situation. So old newspapers were not making money, they were not leveraging the content they had. There was no way for them to monetize from an old business perspective point of view. But you've seen newer models like Spotify and Netflix coming into the play. So, okay, I hope people could hear what I said before. So, I'm also showing a case that I think you guys should go and Google. It's not always easy to take something that is from the old world and make it digital. And I think one big example here is actually how the whole fan base of Star Wars was actually engaging with when they tried to monetize content online, and essentially ending up with a situation where a lot of fans got very angry with the whole Star Wars world, and they had to change the way and come back and apologize for what they did. But let's go into a few examples that I want to show you. So I don't know if you've seen this before. It's from MIT. It's a place where you're actually looking at people like us, where we are approaching. You see that you have the traditional advertising agencies who will help you with branding, brand content, TV ads, and all these things. And the two axes. So you have the digital capabilities going on the y-axis, and on the x-axis you have business capabilities. Right now, upcoming around the world, you're seeing the Accenture Digital, the Deloitte Digital, the BCGs, the McKinseys, and they are business consultants, and they are actually very good at business. But historically, they haven't been the most digital companies in the world. What you're seeing right now is that there's a trend going into the fact that you need to be a digital first company, and you need to have both the actual creative skills, the technical skills, but also the business skills. And the reason I'm saying this is because it's very important for what I'm going to show you next, right? So, as I said, I'm going to talk to you about some case studies from our own world, just a few of them, right? That's what we're going to do. So, what you have here is we have a Japanese company that we're working together with, which is called Hanamasa. Hanamasa essentially has a lot of restaurants in Jakarta. One of the problems was that the Indonesian public thought that it was bad quality meat, and there's a lot of things there. And they actually were saying, how can we actually monetize an online activities and assets, and actually get people to go down to our stores. So we had a look at how actually people were getting inspiration for where to eat and where to go and eat, and especially in Indonesia, it's happening on the mobile. People are watching a lot of YouTube videos. They are seeing inspirations on Instagram, and we thought if we can actually create content that would drive people in a way where they would actually understand that Hanamasa actually has great quality products, that it's engaging content that would drive them to go to the stores. This way we actually would be able to make a funnel where we could prove that we actually could create higher monetization for the client. So how could we measure that we could increase the sales by 20%? Was in every campaign we did, there was a link or a tracking or a code that we could follow all through to a voucher or whatever we do in that sense. And what we could see, because this was the only activity that was done together with anybody, so Hanamasa only did this activity, we saw an increase of 20% of sales in the first couple of months working with us. And I think that is something that shows that there is a power in digital, even if you are very old, not very old, but very traditional business. I think that's very important. The next thing was also actually changing the whole perception. Now all you can eat in whatever condition is very popular in Indonesia, but if there is a public domain saying that the quality is not good, that's of course not going to work for you. So the first thing we had to start with was actually creating a world where people would see that Hanamasa was what they are. Very high quality food, very good experience to go there, and for that we created a series of YouTube videos that were quite interesting to see how you create the food and stuff like that. So I'll show you another example. So we work with Online Pajak, which is essentially what they do is they actually help collecting tax for companies. and the only place they actually monetize is through the digital wallet. And one of the issues for this is that these guys, they have a freemium model, and they're actually getting quite good traction on the freemium model, but they needed to go and make sure that they could get people to use the wallet, so they actually could monetize what they were doing. And for us, that was a very interesting journey, because first of all, how to create a strategy on, and that's what you're seeing in the small pictures beside that. How are we going to create a strategy on how actually get people to use the wallet? I think that is one of the key elements when you're talking monetization. You need to figure out what actually works, and for that you need to make a thesis saying, we believe that people who are on online project, well, those are the first one we're going to attract into the wallet. How we're going to get them to use the wallet? What are the motivators? And there are easy ones like giving them a promotion or discount, but there's also convenience in other places you can go and do that. Another thing we did was, because they are covering such a big different part of the market, so it's everybody in business who they cover, we created personas where we actually said we need to communicate with different people in different ways. So what we created was, we created a persona for a small medium enterprise, a woman having her own business, so we could communicate with her with her problems and her insights, so she would actually understand why she should go and use this service. But what's very interesting is that you need to figure out the thesis, then you have to try it out and see if it works and measure that and figure out is it right what we're saying. And first at that point you can actually go and scale, and that's what we're doing right now for this client, is we're scaling their presence online and actually making sure that we drive much more traffic and much more clients into the funnel. Okay, good. So what I want to say is the important part here is, first of all, you need to make a strategy first. Nobody starts monetizing by just trying out. There is a saying in the startup world that you should try fast, fail fast, and learn fast, and that's not because it's not true. But when you're having an existing company and you want to go and start doing monetization, you need to craft up a strategy that you believe would work. So how are we going to get people to? How could we monetize? How are we going to get people to help us to pursue that monetization opportunity? And what is our goals? What is our KPIs? What would be perceived as success? Now, many people start monetizing by doing e-commerce, for instance, and they don't have a goal for it. So I'm saying, if you are a fashion retailer and you want to go online, how much of your business should be in e-commerce? How much of your business should be actually coming from that? And what are the actual right KPIs to measure on for you? There's so many different performance indicators that you can measure on online, but what are the ones that makes it different for you? And then what you should do is you should try it out fast. And when I say fail fast, the truth of the matter is, it's very, very difficult to get this right. So what we do with our clients is we do a lot of testing to see if we can see if people react to what we try and do. And when we get the learnings, we adapt and repeat again. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I just wanted to lastly say to you guys that any questions in this area you have, I'm of course very, very eager to answer those. If you write them down, I'll answer them. But secondly, yes? Please go to our website. There we are uploading constantly business cases that we have.
Thank you very much, sir. It is indeed a very informed and very detailed knowledge sharing to us. Thank you very much. We have a lot of takeaways from your session. Thank you very much for being with us.